I'm Chief Warrant Officer 4 Victor Pinion, U.S. Navy retired, telling some stories of my naval career. Well, at this point, I've told about 108 that have been filmed. And I've skipped over a lot of stories because I am sensitive to bad-mouthing people and being bad-mouthed. And I don't think that enough attention is paid for the everyday professionals that serve in the United States Navy and in my technical specialty, aviation boatswain mates, especially with catapults and resting gear. Recognize certain good, hard-working, conscientious leadership management performance traits in a lot of the people that I worked with. As a general rule, the CAFSU representatives, who were almost all former Navy catapult and rescue gear people, the early ones may not have been, and then there were a few later ones that were not. But the majority of them were retired aviation boatswain mates and catapult and rescue gear experienced people. These people, all men, were super professional in the performance of their duties. However, they also got caught up in little clique situations that were formed within the admiral staffs in my technical community. Now, that's not a good thing. It was done under the guise of being supportive of each other and supportive of the admiral and the staff and so forth, but not necessarily supportive of people in the fleet. They would frequently badmouth people in the fleet, and I was one of those. I was badmouthed by some and praised by others. I can tell you, the badmouthing did affect me, and it does affect people. Don't do that. It's bad stuff. Now, there were some things that occurred during the course of my naval career and before it. Like in 1958, when they started forming the Naval Aircraft Maintenance Program, which I think I filmed a little episode on that, a little 9-minute episode. The catapults and resting gear and ground support equipment, as in the yellow gear, were exempted from the NAMP. Well, the first one to really feel the effects of that was ground support equipment. During the Vietnam War, aboard the Reocognizing, when I was aboard the Reocognizing, we had at least one situation where we didn't have a huffer that was up to start aircraft for launches, to launch aircraft in attacks against North Vietnam. And we had to wait until they fixed one, got it up enough to where they could start aircraft engines. It was incredible. Well, that was not restricted just to the Reocognizing, but ground support equipment throughout naval aviation was experiencing that problem of poor maintenance of their ground support equipment, which was the very reason the NAMP was formed in the first place, was poor aircraft maintenance. Well, it was phenomenally successful. Well, they included ground support equipment in the NAMP, and they immediately came up and were a good professional organization aboard ship anyway, ever after that. Well, catapults and resting gear and visual landing aids aboard aircraft carriers was still exempted from the NAMP, and that was thought well of by the catapult and rescue gear people, ABEs. Because we didn't have Big Brother looking over our shoulder. Well, the being exempted from the NAMP was very short-sighted, because the NAMP became the Naval Air Systems Command mainstream maintenance management program, and I believe remains so to this day. But we were exempted from it, and being exempted from it caused us a lot of problems. We lost maintenance support infrastructure that the Air Department's V6 Division had formerly provided to us. They disestablished V6 Division and used its resources to create the Aviation Intermediate Maintenance Department, which was in support of aircraft maintenance. Well, that robbed us of their support because we didn't fit within their organization anymore. Well, the people of the senior aviation boatsmates that were involved in getting us exempted from that program were viewed as heroes by many people of my technical specialty. And when we later were forming the Aircraft Launch Recovery Equipment Maintenance Program, which I initiated, I wasn't the only one to try to initiate higher authority support, but all the other efforts failed. Mine, I assumed that it had to come down from the top, so I started writing letters. I wrote a letter to the Chief of Naval Operations via the chain of command, and telling them of our problems and recommending specific solutions. And I personally designed individual maintenance supportive management programs that I've told you about, infrastructure that I've told you about, designing and developing when I was aboard the Midway as a maintenance officer and on Company Westpac staff. Well, those were very successful. When I was on the staff, and I already told a story about Sat Stafford, Capsule Rep Sat Stafford helping me with this, and his secretary, Cora Gambora, doing the typing for us. And we wrote letters to everybody, every command in the United States Navy that dealt with catapult rescue gear and visual landing aids for aircraft launch recovery. And we got some support and we got some bad mouthing, which is normal. But my point is that effort succeeded in getting the Aircraft Launch Recovery Equipment Maintenance Program designed and developed. And I served on as the maintenance officer aboard the John F. Kennedy, which I'll tell you about later, when we started developing it, when Satch got the Chief of Naval Operations' attention on our plight and not having that kind of higher authority support. God bless you, Satch. You're a super professional, as a number of other capsule reps, like Dick Schumann, when in Yokosuka, Japan, became our capsule rep. Lordy mercy, I don't think I could have. I might have been fired had it not been for Dick Schumann. Super professional, and he worked with me instead of bad mouthing, and we achieved some fantastic things in bringing that jury-rigged, poorly maintained catapult rescue up to design standards and even improving on the design. So many really hard-charging, good-performing aviation boatsmates. I am especially in awe of so many catapult captains and cat chiefs, rescue gear leading petty officers and chiefs, and maintenance people. And of the maintenance office staff of in support of the maintenance effort for catapult rescue aboard every aircraft carrier. That's the end of this little story. Y'all carry on.